Folks, we're just going to give it another minute for attendees and panelists to show up, and then we'll get underway. All right, we're going to get started. Just to remind all attendees, first of all, thank you. I know this was kind of last minute. We have a lot of rapidly progressing situations. So thank you to all the attendees and panelists that were able to make it. For those who weren't able to make it, this meeting will be available recorded shortly after we're done here today. This should be a fairly brief information meeting. As we're still kind of in the thick of things and trying to get things sorted out. So to start, I just want to acknowledge that the Thompson-Nicola Regional District interacts with a number of First Nations, and today I come to you from the traditional and unceded territories of the Tk'emlúps-te-Secwepemc people. My name is Andrew Roblin, and I'm the TNRD EOC Information Officer. I have with me today representatives from the Ministry of Transportation. And at this time, BC Hydro and TELUS haven't entered the chat, but if they show up, they'll be given an opportunity to provide an update as well. So I know Modi is quite busy, so I'm going to hand it over to them to provide a quick update.
Great, thanks very much. I know most of you guys are pretty familiar with the impacts, but I'm just going to quickly kind of run across a few of the facts. So, of course, because of extreme weather conditions, we've seen closure of many of the highways and the roads across the province. I guess I'll introduce myself first. My name is Greg Bruce. I'm with the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, and I'm the Deputy Director for the District Operations Center in Kamloops here. So the safety of those affected are our first priority, and we as government are doing everything we can to get things moving, including restoring access to impacted communities. Magnitude of these closures, it's impacting the safe movement of people and goods. We get that. We're working hard to restore chains of supply. So this work that we're doing, we're undertaking geotechnical assessments. We've got technical crews in the field now looking at prescriptions, and some of the early work is being done actually in the field right now. So engineers and contractors are currently monitoring the affected sites and moving to repairs as soon as it's safe to. We've got heavy equipment staged throughout many of the affected areas, so repairs can begin as soon as it's safe. And we're of course going to deploy all available resources, including using equipment from construction sites to ensure roads are reopened as soon as possible. And we've got agencies, government and private business all offering help right now. So we've got lots and lots of resources. It's just making sure that it's safe to get to work and get things done. Images tell 1,000 words. We'll share the Flickr site with TNRD once we get it, our latest information, our latest pictures. And if you guys don't mind distributing that to the audience, I think that'll give you guys the best visual of the scope of the impact. It's really significant. So I'm just going to run through a list of the corridors, the major corridors that have been impacted. So in no particular order, Highway 12, 5 kilometers south of Lillooet, the Big Slide area, that opened today, opened yesterday, and the debris is cleared there. Highway 3 is going to be the priority for access for east-west travel. And that's also, we're in the middle of evaluation there and hoping to see that transition to a likely slat, so single lane alternating traffic opening, hopefully by the weekend if all goes well. Highway 5, Coquihalla, that's going to be closed longer term. Those flicker images will help illustrate that. Really extensive damage. At this point, we don't have a forecasted opening. And that, like I said, that will be longer term. So Highway 1, Spence's Bridge, again, much the same, very major damage, closed longer term. One side road of note there, Nikoman River Road has been washed out, and equipment and crews are being deployed as we speak, and staff is on site working through that prescription right now. We're also along Highway 1 working really closely with CP Rail, who rely on the road for access in a lot of cases, and the relationship is going to certainly benefit both parties. Highway 8, Merritt to Spence's Bridge. Multiple sections of that highway is washed out. That's received really, really significant damage and will be closed for a longer term. So we're working with EMBC. If there's concerns around people or communities, I think they're still the primary contact for that. Of course, we're looking after the corridors and certainly available for information if needed, but likely EMBC for this group is probably going to be the main contact. And that's everything I have. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Greg. I know you're quite busy, so I'll let you go, and I'll continue to provide an update. So thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, and continuing on, just to kind of expand on, so that Highway 8 corridor has also affected power and communications infrastructure. So we are aware that that corridor and including Spence's Bridge is without communications at this time, likely because of line damage along Highway 8. Hydro crews have been up in the air assessing damage to poles and lines. So they'll be actioning that as soon as possible. But obviously without bridges and roads, accessing power lines is going to be very difficult at this time. The TNRD has been working with EMBC as well as RCMP to assess the needs of those along the Highway 8 corridor, and also in communication with folks down in the Lytton area, which have been cut off from services. So in no particular order, like we are aware of folks in Spice Pea Creek area that are without power and are cut off. There is work being done by Flynn Road to reestablish the Spice Creek bridge, and they are hoping to be able to provide access through there in the next day or two. In the meantime, RCMP is working to establish any immediate needs for friends, relatives, or folks in those areas. If there are any immediate medical concerns, obviously if there's an immediate medical danger, contact your 911 or your local emergency to have that actioned. Otherwise, if we're talking about folks that may need medication or other sort of supports, they can give the TNRD a call so that we can action those to the appropriate agencies. We can be reached at 250-377-7188. That information will be available with this video after this call. We weren't taking any questions for this first call to deal with the flooding, but we are opening up, and I understand there's some issues right now with the question submission form. We will get that repaired in short order, and we'll start taking questions for our next update. Things are progressing very quickly, so any information we're providing is current as of now, but things are changing rapidly as we reestablish access and we communicate with affected individuals. So I will remind folks, and I'm just going to share my screen here. Our TNRD webpage we'll keep you up to date with all of our emergency updates. So yesterday we issued an order for a number of properties that we know received structure damage or are otherwise isolated, so that folks from those areas can receive appropriate services. Today we rescinded the evacuation alerts for areas I, M, and N. Those were the broad reaching evacuation alerts that we put in place as the situation developed. Any evacuation orders are still in place in those areas. So along the Highway 8 corridor, Brookmere and some TNRD residents along the Coldwater River are still on evacuation order. To see this as current information, a couple ways to get there, but if you head over to our emergency services, you can, and we are still updating this. We went from wildfire season right into floods, so bear with us as things get updated. But this dashboard is currently functioning and is up to date with all of our evacuation orders. It also does show the information for the merit evacuation order, but that is not specific to the TNRD. That is not a TNRD order. So merit residents should be contacting merit for any of their concerns. So yeah, I was just zooming in here. You can see the red square down there. That's merit's evacuation order. There are evacuation orders and alerts issued by the bands as well here, and then our ones along Highway 8 there, Coldwater Road, and then way down here is Brookmere. So a lot of different needs and that are being assessed, and a lot of work being done. So we will continue to host these meetings as needed. So stay tuned to our social media channels. Don't forget to sign up for Voyant Alert if you haven't already. I know a lot of folks signed up for it during fire season. Make sure you're still current on that, so that any emergency information can go out through there. Depending on what the weather does over the next few days, we are hopeful to see floodwaters recede, but that's really going to be weather dependent. So this is still an evolving situation. So I encourage everyone to stay tuned and to traditional media channels, as well as our social media and web page. And we do always use that Voyant Alert. So once again, if you need to reach out to us, you can contact emergency@tnrd.ca or our phone number 250-377-7188. That's all the updates we have for today. So thank you to our panelists and the attendees that were able to show up on short notice. So thank you, and we'll be having another one of these hopefully in a few days. Thanks. Bye.